Okay, so we wanted to put a feature together for our musculoskeletal screening service that we're now doing at Move4 Physio, and we thought how better to do that than to actually screen someone. So we have Kyle Craig here from ETC who took the bait and expressed an interest in coming in to get screened, and we're going to cover it and show you what it entails and the kind of things we're going to be doing. So we're going to start by having a conversation with the person when they come in. So let's go with Kyle. So what I want to know, Kyle, is what kind of things have you done in the past? What kind of sports have you played? Your exercise training history, and then a bit about maybe some injuries that you've had.
Sure.
So yeah, go.
So, said I'm head coach at Empowerment Training Centre, so I do a lot of strength training myself. I train 4 days a week.
Yeah.
I run twice, and I also am quite a frequent rock climber. So I climb at least 2 to 3 times a month, sometimes more.
Right.
Previous history, I used to play contact sports.
Okay.
So I've got a bit of a dodgy left shoulder.
Bit of trauma.
I've taken a few hits there. Do a lot of kind of upper body pulling with climbing, so that aggravates it. And I recently had a little bit of a history of injuring my lower back. Deadlifting, so left hip's a little bit dodgy as well.
Okay, fine. So essentially what we're taking from that is that we're wanting to zoom in on certain areas perhaps in our testing. So with Kyle, a lot of upper body potential trauma, potential injuries that have been there for a while, obviously uses a lot of that upper body with his climbing and his coaching and his own training, but also some history around the lower body and the hip and we're going to want to investigate a bit deeper there. So essentially, we're going to do a bit of everything with Kyle. So we'll show you what it entails now. So essentially this mimics what we would normally carry out in a physiotherapy appointment, but obviously most people who are taking the screening route are not coming in with a pathology or an injury. They're more wanting to investigate how their body's moving and figure out ways to avoid injury perhaps. So we're still going to do a bit of a clinical assessment, probably not in as much detail as it would be in a physiotherapy appointment, but we're going to look at asymmetries and differences between sides and how the body's moving. So that's what Leisha's doing now with the shoulder. Go, and rest. Nice. Go, and rest. We'll find you out with a bit of the ash test in a minute because that's it's out of range as well. Go, and rest. Is that okay? Yeah. Go, and rest. Nice, mate. Very strong. Go, and rest. Go, and rest. You know, when people do, sprain their ankles or break their ankle that way, they will do all their strength in this kind of position. Rarely do they take themselves into that dirty position there. Exactly, yeah. So that's maybe something to focus on. So we've finished the handheld dynamometry aspect of the assessment. We're now going to move into some force plate assessment as well. So we're going to work through the gears essentially. We're going to start with a balance test, move into some dynamic balance, then a single leg jump, and then potentially into a drop jump as well and see how he's getting on. And then we'll go on to the left. So that's the tracking of the center of force.
It's pretty cool.
That's the track of the centre of pressure for what Kyle's doing on the plate at the moment. I think I'm putting him off by walking away. According to this, a lot more stable on that right side.
All right, wow.
So we're going to move on to something a bit more dynamic now. All right, so we're now going with a land and hold. So if you step off, the movement is essentially this. So we're going to stand on our left leg, hand on our hips. We're going to jump on.
Hop and stick.
Stabilise.
Wonderful, yeah. Do that.
So we're going to go hands on the hips. So it's right leg. We're going to do 3 repetitions each side. And stick it until I tell you to move.
Cool.
All right? Ready when you are.
All right.
So we're looking here at time to stabilisation.
Yeah.
So on average, the time to stabilisation on the right side was 22% longer than the left side.
Interesting.
This fits.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't it? That said, it's a snapshot, it's 3 reps.
Yeah.
The force, and again, the landing force is more around the ability for you to absorb force, that force absorption that we discussed before. That's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's quite.
But we've got a bit of an asymmetry there on that right side. But really, that was rep 2 and 3. Rep 1 was the complete opposite way. So then we'll start. So hands on the hips. We go on the right leg first. Ready when you are. 17.3, good. And then straighten onto the left. 18.3. Yeah, and then if we look at some of the more, easy to use metrics, 3% difference in jump height and flight time. Cool. 2%, so good. So I'm going to try and find you out now with a drop jump, all right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, let's go 3, just to give us a bit more data.
Okay.
Nice. Flight time, pretty similar.
Yeah.
All of it's pretty similar. We're talking 3s, 4s, 6s. RSI, I mean, there was a consistent difference there. You were always better on the right. So that's relevant, although not massive. 6% asymmetry on RSI. Same, that goes with your jump height as well. 3, 2, 1, go! And rest. Nice. Let's go over onto the other plate. 1, go! And rest. Pretty telling, I think. So peak force there, 37% difference. But what we've got here is a bit of a baseline that we can then check back in. Yeah. Hopefully when, if you've had a bit more, some treatment, a bit more rehab focused on these kind of things, then we can check back in on this when things are in a better place. Yeah. So we've finished the force plate testing there, and that concludes the screening service as a whole, I suppose. So yeah, what we found there really is that there was some reduction in the strength and the rate of force development with his shoulder, which fits with the clinical picture at the moment and the things you're talking about, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
In terms of his hips and the issue around there and the lower back, it's not a huge amount of difference there that we found. There's a few things. I think we found like a 6 or a 7% difference with one side versus the other. But for someone who does a lot of training, 6 or 7% might be a relevant amount. Do you know what I mean? So worth investing that time in there. And then maybe a little bit around the stability in that left ankle as well, despite having broken the other one.
Yeah,
a little bit of stability in there is probably.
It's interesting to see the difference between the two and why that might be the case.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to look at.
Exactly, yeah. And it's easy to make, I suppose in finishing, it's easy to make a narrative around why you've got issues in certain areas. Sometimes it's easy, there's a direct mechanism of injury, but it's easy to sort of say, well, you're overloading through your left side or, underloading through your right. This doesn't lie. A lot of the bits of kit that we're using there's no lying there, it's just fact. It's objective information that we can then revisit next time we get you in after you've tried some bits and bobs to address it.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.